6-2, winners of 3 straight, and here comes a new Between the Horns as we head to Santa Clara. Maurice Jones-Drew, DeMarco Farr, I'm JB Long. As always, we're presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers. It's 49ers week. Chance to complete some unfinished business. Why are you shaking your head, DeMarco?
Just Niners week. I just go back through the anthology of just pitfalls when it comes to this football team. Do you hate them yet? Has it started to grow in you?
I hated them before I joined the Rams.
Okay.
So this was a marriage that it was marriage built on hate, which is good. That's the foundation of what we do here.
Every last rep I do in anything, I think about them. It's crazy. Yeah.
I know we've had more painful losses, but where does the one on Thursday Night Football Week 5 rank in terms of sticking in your craw?
Right at the top, because it should not. But again, this has happened before with the 49ers. That's why this is more than a rivalry. But for this football team, it's another – you could be undefeated right now. That's one you should have gotten that you didn't get. So even beyond the rivalry, it's just get back for that game that you let get out of here in SoFi. You have to get that back on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll get into plenty of that and how they make amends and what adjustments they make and preview this Week 10 matchup. But we're going to break the mold a little bit on this Between the Horns. For the first time in show history, right to the kicking game in the A block atop the show. Have we ever led with the long snapper?
No.
Help us all understand why that's the first step in fixing what's ailing this team.
Well, you're missing kicks. And I said this is a hill I'm willing to die on, and I will go to the grave saying that I think Joshua Carty's a good kicker. That guy's got a strong leg. I think as he gets older, he's going to get nothing but better. But I think the operation was suffering, and now it's starting to hurt the football team, or it already has hurt the football team, and it's been going on too long. So you've got to get it fixed. So I think they gave you some indication on what may be happening when they bring back Jake McQuaid, when they bring in another long snapper into the equation. So it's not just about one guy. I think it's the entire operation that needs to get better. And like I said, the shocking thing is it's gone on for so long. That's something we're not used to in the Sean McVay era. Usually things are a problem. If you can fix them, they get fixed. But the best thing about it is this is something that you can get fixed in a hurry. This isn't a 4th or 5th left tackle, or you're down to your practice squad cornerbacks. This is a situation that can get fixed fast, and let's hope it gets fixed on Sunday.
Because there's replacement value at long snapper in your battery available on the street, and so all it takes is one piece to click everything
one phone
back
call
into place.
There we go. Yes.
Maurice, just from a player standpoint, this organization has a very high standard. And you can imagine, you've seen what it looks like to have Sean McVay stand in front of a room, right? The 53 on the active roster, everyone on the practice squad, players and coaches alike. It felt like it had gotten to the point on Sunday where he couldn't go into another team meeting and say, hey, the offense is doing this, the defense is doing this, our kicking game, just give it more time.
Yeah, I think it's this league is built on confidence. And I think the most important thing is if you're not confident in yourself, right? And that's what you saw with some of those kicks, like the shanked all the way left, right? That's a confidence thing. And over time, I think, DeMarco, you said it best, I think Carty will be a really good kicker. You have to build your confidence up. You have to be, especially I played for teams that we didn't have that high of a standard. Early on, we would we're playoffs. Like, this is a Super Bowl caliber roster, and your standard is as such. And so that means you have a bunch of confident individuals around you. And so if I have to hold myself to a certain standard every day, that means I expect you to do the same thing. And if Sean can't stand in front of the room and hold you and your operation or whoever it is to that standard, then we got to get you. We got to get you out of here. We got to find someone else who can do that. And so that's the hard part of this business. I think people don't talk about is because it's not just cutting. Most people don't get cut because of skill. You get cut because of confidence. Because the skill level is very minute. The difference between skill players, even with the Saints, they had some players on their teams that were really good. It's the confidence and the confidence in the scheme and myself and my covering and my technique. If I'm not confident in those things, then you're going to see a big dip. And so I think that's what the biggest part of it is there's just a lack of confidence. And it started in Philly, right, when the first one got blocked. It just was like, or it got close, and then it got blocked, and it's like, here we go, right? And then so I think that is the biggest thing is I thought Sean gave it a lot of time to try to fix too. What, we're week 10 now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a lot of time to try to fix something from the first block field goal. And to not have it fixed is a problem.
Your word about confidence, though, I think is relevant because, yes, they are challenging him. They bring in Harrison Mevis, and maybe he ends up kicking for the Rams this weekend. I don't know. But if it is Joshua Carty who's got a boarding pass to Santa Clara, he should go there as a confident kicker because it means he will have won a job this week in a way that he didn't even have to this offseason, understandably so, but he was the only kicker in camp. So in terms of reestablishing his confidence by pushing him, maybe you can get him back to square one.
I'll say this too. I firmly believe competition breeds greatness. And a lot of times quarterbacks and kickers really don't compete, and punters. Those are the three people that necessarily don't compete because normally you have your starter in camp, he's getting his reps. But if you look at everyone else is in competition. You have 2, 3, 4 running backs. You have multiple wide receivers. You have multiple offensive linemen. Guys are competing to move up. And so a lot of it is because it's the psyche of those positions, right? The kicker has to be able to not do anything all game and then come out and kick a 50-yarder for the game winner. You have to mentally be in a certain mindset. The same with the quarterback. You don't want your quarterback always looking over his shoulder. But also part of that thing is how does he get confident, right? Well, you get confident by winning battles, winning small things over time, and you become that person. And so that's always been like the thing is I've always wondered, how do you manage that as a coach? How do you handle those personalities and those type of things for guys that don't necessarily compete day in and day out? Like, Matthew Stafford's going to compete with Jimmy Garoppolo and Stetson Bennett, but is he really competing though? You know what I mean? Like,
it's over fast.
Right. You see what I'm saying? And so, but Kyren's competing with Blake Corum.
Yeah, this
Right,
is true.
that's a true competition.
That's a fun battle.
Right? Like those DBs were competing with each other throughout training camp. And so you started to see those things. And then also this too, I remember being in Jacksonville. I remember I got paid. I was so upset. And it's a young Maurice, by the way. They drafted Rashad Jennings, and I was irate. I was like, bro, my money hasn't even touched the bank account yet. You're trying to replace me, right? And then every Tuesday, I see you bringing in running backs every Tuesday. Like, what are we doing? What's going on?
But how did you run that year?
Oh, I went crazy every year until I got hurt. But but that's what I'm talking about.
That'd be worth the draft pick.
How do you do that? And I think that's the question we have to ask Sean is how do you do that with the quarterback and or with the kicker? Those have to be
I
internal
think you just did it. And what was the kicker's name again?
His real name or the one you want to use?
Kicker.
What's his name again?
The thicker kicker.
You got a guy with a nickname in the room. Come on, the competition's already there. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's exactly what you just said. You keep bringing in guys to replace me. They may not even think that way about that guy, but you did.
Oh, no question.
So you're going to get the most focus out of Cardi. So I think even if you're Sean McVay or head coach and you're struggling in that spot, and like you said, you have to help hold everybody to the same standard. You have to at least look like you're doing something and bring in competition. I'm going to get this fixed, guys. I'm making moves on it. That's how you keep the locker room. But like you said, this has got to stop, and I think it can end very, very fast. Let's see if this works.
There is another option if necessary, but do you agree that the best case scenario is that Cardi is kicking this week in Santa Clara? I do. I believe that strongly because of the research and the choice that they made to draft him, because of what we saw at the end of last season, knowing he's capable. Also because in the back of my mind, there's some recent data points where I don't want to spin another kicker loose and have him go find a job somewhere else.
Oh, no doubt.
Like whether it's Haversick or Dicker, or even like use the Niners as an example. Finally had to part ways with Jake Moody, and it's worked out for them, but it's the second or third lap around where it often clicks into place for these kickers. I want that to be here in LA for Cardi.
I think it'll hurt 5 years from now if you did. There was only one time, and Johnny Hecker was our punter then, when you had Bojorquez was here, and they were battling it out. And you're like, good God, I don't know,
dropping
man.
dimes in the preseason while
and
Johnny was out with COVID.
You couldn't keep him, and the guy still has a job elsewhere. I think he's in Denver, correct? Still doing it. So
he was in Cleveland for a
Green
second.
Bay.
It is what it is. So, yeah, I mean, I love when you compete for jobs. You can only keep one, but I think competition, like you said, brings the best out of all of us.
All right, that was fun. Let's never do that again.
Okay, good.
Can we never lead with kicking game on Between the Horns again? Put that one behind us.
Yes, for sure.
Let's talk trade deadline. We were talking about it before the show, some of the things that happened around the league, some of the things that didn't happen here in this facility. Maurice, I think you were fairly outspoken in a very measured way last week about what you were hoping to see. Other than Roger McCreary, though, the Rams do stand pat. What's your post-trade deadline reaction to the roster they have? And
thank God.
Thank God what?
We didn't go get Sauce Gardner because I didn't know it was going to be like that.
Okay, so the price changes your mind.
Oh, my gosh, does it? More than anything. Like, I was just talking with a couple of buddies of mine that we have this group chat and we talk about it all the time. Jalen Ramsey went for, 2 firsts and a fourth?
I think. Yeah.
And Jalen Ramsey, and again, I don't want to discredit Sauce Gardner, what he was able to do his rookie year and a little bit of his sophomore year, but he wasn't playing at that level. And to give that up and then take on that contract, the Colts must believe that they're all in and Daniel Jones is their guy. Because who do you don't have any draft capital to go draft a guy, and now you're going to have to, you just put yourself in the corner where you're going to have to go pay Daniel Jones next year. Like, you literally showed your hand. This is what you have. I think a lot of people, I think the Cowboys, what they did doesn't really help them at this point. I mean, you just added another D tackle and a linebacker, but your corners
not just
are still
any D tackle.
but it's Quentin. But still, at
guy
that
can
point,
play, yeah.
he can play. But you need pass rush. Like,
Right.
they're not getting to the quarterback right now on the outside.
I don't know if it helps them. Indianapolis is in a position to go all in. Who are we to say that you shouldn't do that when you think you've got the guys to do it? I like Sauce Gardner. The only thing I had a problem with was how much was it going to cost? Well, I'm not willing to part ways with those two first rounders to get him, but you knew it was going to be a premium price. But I like the way this defense is set up. I do. If you could just be credible in the back end, which they are, if you can get what you saw out of Emmanuel Forbes each and every week, I think that's good enough with the pass rush you have. If this offense starts to round into form and score points and put the pressure on opposing offenses by score, I think you're set up to be one of the top teams in the NFC. So I didn't think a splash was necessary to take it from, point A to get to where you want to go. I think you have good enough players on this roster already. You just have to play a little bit better. Look, we started this whole show talking about the kicking game. If that was solid, you'd be 7-0 right now. I think you're good enough to win right now.
Well, my only concern is this, and it's always going to be an issue. Who's going to cover A.J. Brown? That's going to be my only concern, because you've done everything else to nullify that offense. The one problem you had was for a quarter and a half, you didn't cover A.J. Brown. You couldn't cover him. There was only one before, when you won the Super Bowl, you had a guy that could shut down a top wide receiver, right? And it allowed you to do some different things. And so that's my only concern. If you're looking to win the Super Bowl and you're saying, look, there's going to be a 3rd and 9 and we're going to have to go one-on-one, can any of these guys stop A.J. Brown?
What if you're just trying to win the NFC West? First things first, San Francisco was not able to acquire more pass rush help, importantly, for this week and beyond. Seattle did go get another weapon.
But I was going to say that. Like, Seattle scares me by getting him. He can fly.
What did you just whisper?
He can fly.
He can go. Yeah.
And what does that do for JSN? That opens up so much more. By the way, I don't know if you guys watched the Commanders game, but I don't think he was covered. He made someone get hurt, and then he wasn't covered the rest of the game.
Wow.
Like, so JSN is playing at such a high level to add that piece. And I was going to say that next with the trade deadline is that Seattle's low key, as the young kids would say, making very good moves to be a contender for a long time.
Don't 6-7 us.
He's young.
I'm
kids,
just
come
saying,
on.
like that.
Yeah.
That move is underrated.
Yeah.
That move is underrated. And let's remember, he was with Clint Kubiak last year, and that's when, remember those first 2 games, he went berserk those first couple games with Carr, like 3-4 touchdowns, like shot plays. I mean, again, that was the one thing that caught my eye.
Let me take a stepping stone to Stafford and the Rams by pointing out something that we floated last week on this show, and I'm going to double down on it here, which is to say, I think part of the animating force behind not making a Sauce-like trade is the possibility to take 2 or 3 more bites at the apple with Matthew Stafford. And I think that's probably a perspective change from where we were on draft day of this year.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Okay, so we've seen lots of quarterbacks at the beginning, the middle, and the end. If you were just watching Matthew Stafford from space and you had no idea how old he was, could you really tell in his play? Does it look like
You got the best quarterback in the NFC.
You got the best quarterback in the NFL, and I think in this system, to me, the way he's playing and the way they allow him, or the way he's allowing the system to work through him, is why he is where he is now. To be honest with you, I mean, we saw it last year with Jimmy G in the last game of the season. Jimmy G went toe-to-toe with the Seattle Seahawks. There was a lot of play-action pass, under center stuff.
So you're putting his brain, his arm talent into the system that it's meant to be run this way.
And a QB-friendly system.
Yes.
And you're getting, 21 touchdowns, 2 picks or something crazy? Or I don't know what it is, but...
With Puka, without Puka, with targets who are winning. Tell me about this 3 tight end identity now. It's 2.5. With T. Ferg out there, I'm not sure it's true 13 personnel.
Oh, it's 13 personnel because there ain't no receiver running as big as him running like that.
So how did the Rams get here, and why are they leaning into it in a way that they've never done before in 8 prior seasons?
Things happen where you have to make adjustments. And sometimes you make adjustments on the fly. And I think Puka getting hurt in Baltimore forced their hand to figure out how can we run the ball, still be efficient in our passing game, and be able to use play action pass. Puka Nacua is your lead blocker on most run plays out of 11 and 12 personnel. They'll put him in motion. He'll be able to lead block. Well, now guess what? Instead of putting the receiver from all the way outside to motion across, what is short motion the tight end, right? That's stacked, and then we'll do the same thing, and then he'll insert. And so it's not a I don't know the play calls, but to me it doesn't look like it's a different play call. It's just a different formation. Right? The same motion, shift, or whatever you want to call it. Guys are ending up in the same spots, but now these are bigger guys.
So offensively, the Rams are running a lot of the same plays and concepts. Defensively, though, DeMarco, you're forcing opponents to work harder because now all their different personnel groupings have to understand the run-pass conflict.
Well, running back, I bet you like 12 personnel, right?
Yeah, 12, 21.
Yeah, see, I can't stand it as a defensive player because it balances me out. I can't call either side, so I don't have a strength side. If you put 13 out there, I'm really hamstrung. Here's the other part. When you put that stuff on tape, you have to stay up and talk about every single thing you do defensively versus that personnel group. So everything they throw out, you have to keep talking about. This is what we're going to do in base defense. This is what we're going to do in dime, nickel. When we blitz, if we see this, we're going to do that. Don't call it here, call it to that guy. That's a lot of prep for 1 week when you put that stuff on tape. Plus, you've got Puka and Devontae to worry about. And that's the thing that really makes this offense tough to defend.
And the best part about it is it's probably still the same play that they ran in OTAs with that out of 12 and 11 personnel.
Correct.
And that's the thing that offense has an advantage of.
Way back in the day when the Niners were rolling when I was a player. And it's funny. They would have like 25 different personnel groups through motions and shift to run the same 6 plays. Over and over and over again. That's how you get beat. That's what drives you crazy. That's what this offense can be.
The league-wide trend, though, and San Francisco has always done this well. Seattle is doing it more than ever. The Rams are getting there, is showing run personnel to get defenses to match you so that you can beat them with your passing game.
Exactly.
Right? And San Francisco is unique because they've got Juszczyk and Kittle, right? So they can get in some of those sets and still have 2 pass threats at those positions. I think Seattle, we'll talk about this more next week, but they're doing it at an elite level. It's meant great things for Sam Darnold. But what does it mean for the Rams to be able to put T. Ferg out there and have him fully integrated into the game plan and have him be the joker piece that I think they've been searching for ever since they drafted Gerald Everett, I would argue.
Well, again, let's talk about where quarterbacks go to get rehabbed, right? Where do most quarterbacks go? They go to Minnesota, they go to San Francisco, or they come to L.A., because this system is what DeMarco said. We're going to run 12 plays, but we're going to run them out of 20 formations and 15 different personnels, right? But to the quarterback, it's going to look the same. And when you have a guy like Matthew Stafford who can identify the defenses and know exactly where he wants to go with the ball, how much better do you think he'll be if we can rehab a Daniel Jones back or Sam Darnold back from what he went through with the Jets or some of these other people? And so the reason Sam Darnold is doing awesome, this is the same offense he ran in San Francisco. It's the same offense he ran in Minnesota. And so I have Matthew Stafford now that I can come out in 13 personnel. You come out in a base formation with linebackers and safeties down in the box, and I get one-on-one up the seam, or I get whatever I want with an athletic tight end. Come on, what are we doing?
It can't be a coincidence that Corum and Kyren both loved it. Both had their best day of the season last week, right?
I'm glad you said what you said. There's a quiet competition going on
Always.
Here. Yeah, it's fixing to be louder. Either way, it's good for us. I thought the O-line up front did a great job. I thought Kyren Williams, we said this on the digital show. Is it up to Sean to get Kyren going? No, it's up to Kyren to get going, and he did. You've got to make more out of your opportunities because when Blake Corum is in the game, that dude is thinking end zone. I really do. I love everything he did except when you cut it back and you force Matthew Stafford to be a fullback. Don't do that.
No, Matthew Stafford, get out the way. Let me go one-on-one.
Then keep the ball front side.
We couldn't, man. We had to get back over there. I'll say this, too, about the competition piece. Yeah. You keep talking about T. Ferg. You don't think Tyler Higbee's seeing that?
They're all better.
Davis Allen's seeing that?
I mean,
Ferguson. Everyone, all of a sudden, they're all
Davis
better.
Allen's offensive face mask is my favorite penalty of the season, I think.
Yeah.
He was good until he pulled the guy.
But everybody's...
Still, I don't hate it.
Right.
Still, I don't hate
But
it.
when you're sitting in the meeting... Right, and I may be the only one. I may be crazy. I may be the only one who thinks this way. But you're sitting in the meeting. They're like, "All right, T. Ferg, this play's for you." How do you think everyone else feels that's in that room? Like, okay, like, good for him.
Yes.
I need some plays for me now.
The same as
Right?
Braden Fisk when everybody's getting sacks but you.
And that's what
Same
it's
thing.
about.
Yes.
If not for that Davis Allen penalty, I think the Rams would be 9 for 9 in the red zone the last 2 weeks spanning the bye, aside from Devontae Adams and Matthew Stafford getting on the screws. What's changed there? What's been different?
I think
Or is
the
that just it?
I think it's the 13 personnel. It's literally coming out in 13, play action pass, under center, selling outside zone. I mean, what the Rams, I think the Rams, the first couple plays ran play action, didn't even run the ball and against the Saints. And then came out and spread and ran the ball. Right? That just puts your defense. Now your wheels are spinning. Then we get in the red zone. We come out in 13. We're inside the 15. You're like, oh, this has to be run. I have to be aggressive. I have to fit to my gap. Play action pass, and now I got a guy straight stretching, and it's just it just again it makes you think so much. This offense, and we've been waiting to see this. We haven't seen this since 2018, 19, when Todd Gurley was running those outside stretch plays, and Whitworth was getting the edge, and then they boot away, and the guys are just wide open. We're starting to get back to that, but it's just instead of 11, it's out of 13.
And every once in a while, you pop Tyler Higbee out there for an easy touchdown. But I wish I had said it on this show last week because I thought it. You guys probably did too. When you go fade ball after fade ball and you kill Jacksonville in that way, I would have wagered anything that the first time they get in the red zone, he's going to cross face. You're going to hit him on an easy slant for a touchdown, which they did. And then you see what the Saints had to do the next time? They had to bail a linebacker out there to take it away. You just go back to the fade ball, and he rises and wins again. So now you've got him coming and going.
Yeah,
down there.
that touchdown to Devontae was like stealing. Yeah, just unreal. Yeah, I didn't even make a sound when it hit his gut. Just done, touchdown. Yeah.
Let's go to the defense. Maurice, I don't know if you were listening last week when DeMarco and I were talking. I called this the yeah, but defense. Like they're a very, very good defense.
I kind of like that. That's a
but
good name.
the only thing that you can prevent from saying like they're elite is, who have they beaten? Indy's their best win. The Colts are the best offense they've defeated. Who's the best quarterback they've taken down?
Daniel Jones. Who else would it be?
Daniel Jones is playing better, but
Mac Jones played his butt off.
you say C.J. Stroud
But
early on.
maybe the best individual quarterback, terrible offensive line situation, didn't have his receivers week one. So
Caught a break versus Baltimore.
I'm not trying to damn this defense with faint praise. They've been really, really good. And there's plenty of metrics that can adjust for opponent strength. And they also say that this is a top 5 defense. But I love the gauntlet they're about to run, to your point about being ready for this stretch. Go beat Mac Jones and Kyle Shanahan. Take out Sam Darnold. You know, you still got Jared Goff. You still got Baker Mayfield. The best offenses that they're going to face are in front of them, not behind them.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think that's what when we were talking about a DB, that was what my concern was. Like, who is going to be your DB? If you play Tampa, and Tampa gets 2 of the 3 guys back. You got some mismatches going on there with Mbuka, who's playing really well. You have Godwin, and then you have McMillan. I don't know if he'll be back or not by that time, or Detroit. Who's going to cover Amon-Ra St. Brown? Right? That's a different animal on the slot. And guess what? Jameson Williams is still making plays as well. And so there's going to be some different concerns there. And that's what I want to see from the defense is how do you shut down some of these top wide receivers? It's not going to be the old way. You're going to have to do it with multiple bodies, coverage, leverage, and different things like that.
You get the kicking game right, though. The offense playing like this, you don't have to hold an opponent to 3-7-10 anymore to get
Correct
a W.
Mundo.
Yeah.
You know what my answer is going to be with any receiver is destroy the supply line, that QB. So for every receiver that we just talked about, I hope you've got tackles and guards because the pressure will get there. And if we're talking about quarterbacks you haven't faced, how about the running backs you have? I mean, really, when you think about you go from Saquon to Taylor, you had to face King Henry. This is your second time around with McCaffrey, and you did a pretty good job against him on the run the first time you saw him. So this defense is doing exactly what it's designed to do with the personnel and how they do it. Stop the run, earn the right to rush a passer, and then get after him. And I'll keep saying this, and I have to give him all the props in the world. There's no way I thought Mac Jones was going to finish that ball game with as many times as he got hit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm seriously. I mean, that was a heck of an effort by him. He's got to remember that, and you have to remind him of that this Sunday. And I think you said it during the broadcast, Jared Verse went nose-to-nose with Trent Williams and gave him some. And Byron Young, like you said, if he didn't give away that sack last week versus New Orleans, is really on one. These two guys are virtually unblockable at times. They are game plan number one. So I get receivers, and how do you cover A.J. Brown? I bet all opposing players or offenses are worried about how do we block these two dudes first. so we can get the ball
No
off.
one's more worried about that than Kyle Shanahan and Mac Jones because the guy's not even holding on the football for 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's playing point guard back there. And
Literally.
so
Bounce passing it.
correct.
Take it.
2.7 seconds.
Yeah.
In and
Well,
out.
I think that my biggest concern over the next 2 weeks is pass plays on first down. Mm-hmm. That's going to be my biggest concern because if you look at both of these teams, the Niners and the Seahawks, they throw the ball on rundowns, right? Out of run formations.
Yeah, that's what we were
And
talking about
yes,
previously.
right.
They're
And that
setting
is-
you up.
And that is tough to stop. If you have to, well, how do we stop guys from pinning their ears back? You got to
Get it
stop
out
the run,
fast. Yeah.
right? You got to stop the run. So we're going to make you play the run first and then get into your pass.
And San Francisco couldn't and didn't run it in Houston, and then they doubled down on it and ran all over New York with
Right.
not just CMC but Robinson too. And so that is a real dimension you have to respect again as you prepare for Week 10.
And that's the one thing you can circle about McCready. Everywhere he's been, he can tackle. And he can tackle inside and out. You know what I mean? So coverage.
You think he gets a look this week, even with D. Will coming back?
I was surprised. I thought he'd play a little bit more, but I thought Emmanuel Forbes really, again, competition in the room. Yeah. Guess what happens? Guy plays his best football. So I think they're hitting all the right switches. But at some point, we're going to see him. But the one thing that jumps out at him, the guy's physical. And that's what the Rams are going to bank on. And that's what you need this Sunday.
All right, connect more dots from Week 5 to Week 10 in terms of adjustments, things that you saw at SoFi that you think play at Levi's or
Tighter
have to
coverage.
change.
You got to cover the backs. You can't let Christian McCaffrey catch a 4-yard pass and get 15. Can't do that. On second
Yards
and
after
8.
catch is how they
Yes.
subsist. It goes hand in hand with the time to throw thing I just mentioned.
Well, that's their whole deal. Like, again, being around Kyle, and I only remember this, I was around him when I was 17, 18 years old, but there's certain things that stuck with me that he said. One, he talked about the multiple running the same play out of multiple formations and multiple personnels. But two, he said, we consider passes behind the line of scrimmage and play action passes part of the running game. So if you see a play action pass and then Mac Jones dumps it to McCaffrey, he adds that to the run total in his mind. Obviously, it's not like that on the stats, but in his mind, that's like a run play to him. And so that to me says, okay, if that's the case, then we have to make sure we have someone around McCaffrey at all times. We got to make sure that he can't get it. If Kendrick Bourne is gonna run all these deep ends and Juwan Jennings, that's fine. We'll worry about that later. But we just can't let McCaffrey catch a 4 or 5 yard route and then turn it to a 15, 20 yard. We got to be able to tackle guys in space and play a little bit tighter coverage underneath.
I like the way you ran the ball. I don't think Blake Corum or Kyren Williams had a catch or a target last week, right? They were just strictly running backs or protectors. I like that game plan. You talk about the emergence of 13 personnel. I think that is an offshoot of that. So continue on with that and continue protecting Matthew Stafford when you have a chance to throw the football. I think this defense, like you said, if you give them a lead, which is all they need, give them a 1-score, 2-score lead and have them defend it where they have to rush the passer. I don't think there's an O-line in the world that could keep them off you for 3.5 quarters. I just don't. So as long as you don't turn the ball over and you remain on schedule offensively, I think the defensive side will take care of itself as long as you stop the run. And the other thing is what we started the show with. When you have a chance to kick, it's got to go in. Period, end of story. Extra points, short field goals, even the long ones if you have to make it. You have to have confidence in that group to at least do their job or win the game if necessary. That can't be an issue. You got to fix that by Sunday.
Can I say one last thing?
Not even one last, as many as you want.
Catch the ball when it's thrown to you. I think that from week
You're
5,
talking to the running back room.
backs. That's the biggest thing. That was a touchdown that was dropped and a crucial first down that was dropped, and I think that took a lot of momentum out of the offense in the first half. If we can get those catches again, it's again something so minute and so simple that you've done since you've been a kid playing catch outside. But those 2 drop passes that we saw, one from Blake and one from Kyren, that changed the game. And that puts you behind a little bit too much for you to have to get back and tie it up. But if you caught those, you don't know what the game
The first
would be like.
San Fran game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense. Oh, yeah.
No Kittle last time, though. Ton just had a great game. Kittle's back, but Fred Warner's not. And that's going to feel different, I think, going up to San Francisco and not seeing him in the middle of this defense.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't know who I'm happier not to see, Bosa or Fred Warner.
No,
Probably Fred
I
Warner.
disagree
Yeah.
with you because I think if I'm Kyren, I got to get some get back. That's how I see it.
Really?
I'm mad that you're hurt because that 4th and 1, you sold out, all that stuff, and everyone. I'm upset because now you stole my chance to get some get back away from me. So whoever it is, I'm gonna go get after whoever that is. But you want to go against the best, especially when they got the best. They got the best of you.
Tip of the cap. I'm happy he's out.
I'm going to say what I always say. it feels like I always say when the Rams face the 49ers, here's your chance to throw some dirt on them. Don't miss again. Their record looks great. And look, if they somehow manage to sweep the Rams, if the 49ers win this week, I think they've clinched a playoff spot. Because that's not just 7, but it's 7 NFC wins. It's 4-0 against the division, a remaining schedule that has Arizona, Carolina, Cleveland, Tennessee, Chicago.
No.
I don't care how many wheels fall off. They're going to get to 10, maybe 11 wins. So it is incumbent upon the Rams. And I wish I had $1 for every time I've said this on this show and others. DeMarco's shaking his head because he's sick of me saying this. But it seems like every time you get to San Francisco on the schedule, they're banged up, they're fragile, they're at a tipping point. And you've not kicked them off that ledge enough.
It's something about Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh that I don't sleep well at night about.
Yeah,
it's just
they're very
those,
good at
It's
what
those
they do.
two together that really like.
And McCaffrey, when McCaffrey plays.
Yeah, but I'm just like, even when they had D'Amico Ryan, I was like, whatever. But like with Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan, and maybe from those years we were at the Coliseum and this like the first year and they had all those pass rushers. You couldn't do anything.
Part of it, too, is the division you're playing in this moment in time. Knowing that Seattle's next, knowing that the NFC West is the only division with 3 teams that have 6 wins apiece. Remember last week we framed the Saints as take care of your business, make sure that you're in great playoff standing.
And
you look at where the Rams are relative to their pursuers. I don't know if you have any confidence in the NFC teams off the bubble right now, the Bears and the Vikings of the world. But this week then becomes about, are you real about defending your NFC West crown? Do you want to host on Wild Card Weekend or maybe play for more?
Well, I think the next 2 weeks are about that. And
Yes,
you can't
for
look
sure.
forward, but I think the next 2 weeks are going to tell us a lot about the Rams.
3, throw the Bucks in there too,
Yeah.
prime time.
Yeah, for sure. I just think in the NFC West, if you like, the easiest way to get to the playoffs is win your division, right? And you let one go at home, so now you have to go into a hostile environment with a coach that has done a masterful job against your defense. One, of creating a game plan against Aaron Donald. The game plan that he had, JB, for Aaron Donald for the last 3 or 4 years of his
toss
career
away.
was unbelievable. that was just like, we knew what was going to happen, and they just did it anyways, and they found a way to win, right? And then a defensive coach that's had success with multiple players, regardless of guys are hurt or not, of stifling your offense. Now, I will say the second half of that Niners game here in SoFi was completely different.
Offense and defense, I would argue.
And so that's what the Rams have to bank on, is we have to be able to go back to that. And if we can start like that, start faster, and finish the same way, then you'll be excited about the result.
I'm glad there's a lot on it. Everything you guys just said. I just want to beat them.
That's what I said on the podcast that I did. It was like all these storylines. I just don't like you.
You cheating on our podcast?
Not at all.
No.
What's up?
Double agent.
No.
I went behind enemy lines.
you
Told
go.
him what it was.
Not afraid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live down the street, JB.
Right.
I'm actually driving. I'm about to beat you guys. I'm going to drive up there and
There
beat
you
you guys
go.
up there. So it's
Yes.
all good.
Parting shots, final thoughts, anything else?
No, just
what didn't we get to?
Excited. I think we got to everything. Did I tell you that Kevin Dotson's got an ugly stance, but it's very effective?
Tell us more.
I'm just saying that
Because last week you were on about protection, and I think that was the right time and the right statement.
the O-line, I think that week off, the bye week, really helped those 2 guards in particular. When you have ankles, you can't really push. You know what I mean? So they did a great job, but you can tell they're starting to move people now. Kevin Dotson's starting to knock people down. Steve Avila is starting to knock people down and move people. Coleman Shelton on those double teams. So that week off really helped. But, man, that stance, my goodness. Good Lord. You know who else had an ugly stance? Aaron Donald.
Did he?
Oh, my God, it was terrible. But, dude, it was effective. That's
got
what I'm
off the
saying.
ball, man.
Absolutely. It was, oh, my God, just gross. But he was just an animal. Yeah.
For me, I just want to know what Sean does the second half of the season. Because the last couple of years, the second half of the season, the team is like hit a switch and they've gotten hot and they've rolled. And
Which even that was kind of a reversal, right? Because they used to start fast and hang on.
Yeah. But then for whatever reason, it was a couple of years ago, they flipped it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you can see it. You talked about you're all of a sudden, and I know people are like, oh, it's the Saints. It doesn't matter. The Saints defense is still really good. It wasn't the Saints offense was the one that we were questioning. It's the defense was always good. I mean, they stifled Tampa, and then you went out there and did that to them. Unbelievable.
Do whatever you wanted.
And you think this style plays as you get to the holidays and the winter ahead.
You know I love this is the time of the year where every running back, like, be happy that we caught Baltimore right before November. Be happy. Because all of a sudden, watch, Derrick Henry's going to start rushing for 150, 100 yards a game. No one wants to tackle him. Just this time of the year, the team's Green Bay. This is when Green Bay normally makes their run. No one wants to tackle this time of the year. They lean on the run game. Detroit's another one, right? There's going to be some teams, but we're going to see who wants to tackle this time of the year. And I expect the Rams to be offensively and defensively to continue to get better as they've done the last couple of years.
All right, they finally got their first NFC victory against the New Orleans Saints, now looking for their first West victory. They'll have 2 opportunities back-to-back against their primary competition in the division, first San Francisco, then Seattle. Good to see you both. Safe travels to the Bay Area. We'll catch you at Levi's, which
SoFi North.
That's where the Super Bowl is being played this year, am I right?
SoFi North.
Wouldn't that be great?
So having gone through San Francisco to make the confetti fall at the Rams' house, the only thing that could ever even challenge that feeling, DeMarco, would be
that's hey, listen, that'd be those fans in the Bay
got a
Area
game this week first.
They will be upset at that.
I tell you what, your odds of getting to that last game increase dramatically if you take care of business in Week 10. All right, Rams and Niners. Renewal of the rivalry. DeMarco Farr, JB Long, Maurice Jones-Drew here on Between the Horns, presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers.